we interrupt this program to bring you...
What's up everyone, it's your girl Zay and welcome. If you're new here, welcome back. And we have Gabby again with us today. This is gonna be an uncut video. Wait, name again?
The topic?
Yeah, the topic.
Oh, the topic is healing in relationships.
Yes, so we're talking about healing in relationships. It's very much uncut. No, this is not makeup and mayhem, so don't, So yes, before we continue, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. We're gonna be talking about quite a lot of stuff, and Gabby gonna leave that one here, cause just not a disclaimer, just a preface. We are very much interested in anything mental health related. I'm actually pursuing a mental health course, so I'm gonna be a mental health coach in a few, but I'll let you all know. But yes, we are very much advocates on all of these things, and when it comes to relationships and healing, yeah, we can talk about that. So let's get into it.
Alright, so I think what we can lead off in is what the importance is in healing. So I guess we can start with that. Personally, I feel like it is extremely important when it comes to healing in relationships, especially after being like ridiculously hurt or going through trauma in a relationship, whether it was through abuse, any kind of abuse, physical, emotional, mental abuse in the relationship. And I feel like it's very important to go through the process of healing before you enter a new relationship, because
and I like how she mentions process, because there's also the notion that you have to be completely healed before you go into another relationship,
right?
Which is not necessarily the case, but the process has to start, because
Exactly.
if the process doesn't start, then it's just gonna be a process of people hurting other people.
Exactly.
You understand? And then the
cycle
continues, and then that's just crazy. Why am I hearing somebody messaging me right now? Hold up. Let's get rid of that for a minute. Alright, yeah, we're back. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a process. So the whole concept of it's a literal.
Guys,
we're
it's
fanning
hot.
ourselves this whole time.
Let me see if we can press since the air over here, so.
Yeah, so I think it's a literal process. Like, how how I went about the process of healing. I'm healed, by the way. That's the thing. So how I went about the process, like how you go through rehab. Mm-hmm. Not rigid like that, but I treat it like
withdrawals, and then
you have the withdrawals, you have like the irritability. So like, okay, so I don't know the full process of going through rehab. I just know like the surface stuff. So I'm going to equate everything. So the first couple days or weeks, maybe you have your withdrawal phase, right? Your withdrawal phase is like, in comparison to like healing in a relationship, it's like, you're crying and you miss them so much, and you're like thinking, oh my gosh, did I make a mistake? I want to go back to him or her. That's like the withdrawal phase, right? And then you have the like, you have times where you have what's the word?
Why am I
like, okay,
Describe
I can't remember
it.
the word right now. I can't remember the word right now. What is like when you go back to the person? What's that word?
I have no idea.
Oh
like it's not coming to me. Describe it.
So okay, like when you're trying to come off of cocaine, but then you like have a breakdown and you just go back on it. What is that word called?
Relapse.
Yes. You have a relapse. So you have times where you actually do go back to the person who hurt you because you know that's what you're used to. You're used to that dynamic of the relationship.
Yeah.
Even if it's toxic or even if it was abusive or whatever, you go through a relapse. You have those moments, and then you have the times. I think it will still fall under withdrawal because after you relapse, you have to go through withdrawals again. Another phase is like the loneliness of it all. Like you're not used to being, especially if you've been with a person for like
And
years and years and years.
even without having been with someone for years and years and years, if you're not used to just like, because even some people, them can't do without going out, they can't do without being around friends and stuff like that. If you're not used to that, then we have a problem. There's a huge problem because you're not used to being in your own company. You know, there's a difference between being alone and being lonely.
Definitely.
Right? There's nothing wrong with being alone sometimes. Alone is where you're able to find yourself. Alone is where you're able to, you know, grow. Alone is where you're able to call yourself out on all the crap that you've been doing.
Definitely.
Trust me, because
that's a lot to know.
you around people, you're not able to introspect the way you know you introspect when you are alone. And if you're not introspecting,
I'm just going to get into that. So the next step would be going through a time of introspection, learning about yourself without them, and who you are individually, because especially if you're going through the healing of your first love, I think that's what I went through. My healing came from breaking off with someone who I considered the first person I fell in love with, right?
okay,
So I had to do a lot of thinking because I realized that I was kind of dependent on them to have an identity. And I had to go through
and sometimes
that.
your worth as well.
Exactly.
Because I remember
because
even
you look up to them, you know. You want them to see you as this person who you want to be, but you depend on them to
or
give
even
you that satisfaction of that's
like,
who I am.
or even sometimes not saying the things that you do in a relationship are not in your nature, but like some persons, they even go all out and my god, cook and clean for the man here and whatever.
Not that anything is wrong with that, you know.
Nothing
Nothing is wrong with that,
but we're just trying to say that, you know, just to prove a point, I'm wife material, right? And in truth and in fact, if you think about it, a man only stays if he wants to stay. Nothing. And then that even came full flex to me because I'm here sitting and seeing, and this is not me being vain, but look how we're not pretty. Think about it. So we can cook, we can clean, we can do all of these things, we can hold conversations, all of these things, and we're here sitting at, well, I'm always thinking like, what is wrong with me that, you know, somebody would not want to be with me, you know? I'm funny, I love adventure, all kinds of things. And like, what is wrong with me?
That is what you need to snap out of.
And there's nothing wrong with you. If anything, there's something wrong with the guy who does not see the value in you, honey. He doesn't see you. He doesn't see your worth. He wasn't for you, of course, but it's also that they don't see the value and worth in you. That's why I say a man is only kept if he wants to be kept. Nothing that you do here on this earth, no matter how much you love the man, or if there's a guy watching this, no matter how much you love the woman, if she doesn't want to be kept, if he doesn't want to be kept, he's gonna go out and, you know, find some other person. Or even if you guys are not in a relationship, maybe it's a situationship, or, you know, there are feelings going around and you guys like each other, but you know, nothing serious, that's because they don't want to be with you. Either that, or, you know, they have their own hurts that they need to work on.
Exactly.
Don't try to fix nobody.
Ooh.
Don't try to fix nobody. And it's not to say that you can't help people, you know, when they're going through things, but only help them if they ask for it. Exactly. Only help them if they're willing to allow you in for you to help them.
Definitely. You can't hurt. You can't help someone who doesn't want to be helped.
That's so true.
And I can't stress that, you know.
And especially if you're an empath,
yes,
it wicked out here for me.
Because you kind of feel that they need the help.
Yeah.
But you can't help them unless they want to be helped. You can't. So unless they give you the indication or they outright tell you, oh my gosh, I need help to get through this, Don't waste your time. And I said, don't, and not to say don't waste your time like you don't care, you know, but it doesn't. I really don't think it makes sense to go out of your way to help someone who hasn't asked for help. It really makes no sense.
It's preservation of your own sanity, your own energy, your own time.
Definitely.
Because if somebody, especially if somebody asks for help but is not doing the things that they, you know, need to get better, that don't even make no sense either.
Exactly.
Because you're putting out all of this effort and there's no reciprocation on the person's end in terms of, okay, I'm trying to help myself as well. Right? So there's that as well. You have to, you know who really deserves that kind of help to be healed and them things there. You can't help everybody is not your assignment, even when it comes to relationships.
Definitely.
Unless you are and even with that, being a certified psychologist, psychiatrist, and so there's a conflict of interest when it comes to that. But you probably would have more of a knowledge. You are not a psychologist or a psychiatrist and them things there. You're not obligated to heal someone. You know what your responsibility is? To heal yourself.
To heal yourself.
And when you heal yourself, you become a better human being, so you can be better to others. Literally.
And then that's our next question. How can you help to?
That was so weird. It's uncut, guys. Whatever you hear, this is uncut, raw. We're not cutting nothing. Yeah, just continue.
Yeah. So question. Males, females, everybody who listens to this. How do you expect to heal somebody if you haven't healed yourself?
That's facts. You know, it's kind of like the thing where, okay, you give everybody else the advice, but you don't follow your own advice.
And I go through that a lot. Listen, I'm what they call the psychologist friend. Everybody come to me with their problems, and I'm giving advice after advice after advice. And there are times where I will, like, after I'm done, have the conversation with them, and I'm like, why do I apply that to yourself?
Exactly.
You get me? So that is where the healing comes in, and there's a point that I need to make. You have to be intentional. Put the word right, so you have to be intentional about your healing. It sometimes, and it sounds good, but you have to like force yourself to heal, because if you don't push to say, I need to get to X place, or I need to learn to get to a place where I can function without this person, you have to do it. You have to be intentional with it. You have to push yourself to do it, because if you don't, you're going to be stuck for years. I tell you. And
it's just a never-ending cycle, you know. A lot of persons, they tend to go for familiarity when it comes to relationships, and familiarity, usually if you're not healed, that's when you go for familiarity, right? In terms of if it's a toxic relationship or if the person isn't for you. So for example, especially us as Christians, you know, this is just an example. Say for example, there are guys who have approached you who are not necessarily Christians, and maybe because there are many reasons you're attracted to guys that you're attracted to. So say you have a father who's maybe not in the church, and you want to save him, so somebody else comes into your life, and every time these different guys come into your life, you want to save them just like how you want to save your father. Right? And then a lot of things happen, you know, temptation. You fall into the temptation because the man never was a Christian. He never, or if he, you know, had he was Christ inclined, because a lot of guys,
that's a nice term.
No, a lot of guys are Christian in name but aren't Christians, so they're Christ inclined. Yes, they know about Jesus Christ and everything,
but they don't act it out.
But they don't act it out. So if they're Christ inclined, you find that they're not necessarily doing the things that they should be doing, or they're doing things that they shouldn't be doing. And then you want to help this person, again going back to the whole helping other persons to heal. You want to help this person, and all you're doing is doing a disservice to yourself and not helping yourself heal from what it is that you need to heal from.
So long story short, if you have exited a relationship and you have not undergone the healing process, do not, I beg of you, do not enter into any other relationship until you have healed. Because as you said, you're doing a disservice to you and you're doing a disservice to them. Because you're going to enter something damaged. And you're going to project that damage onto the other person. And it is not fair
Damage
for them.
and damage does not equal healing.
Especially if it's a person who is not damaged or who has been healed.
Exactly.
All you do, I just pack on more damage on them, or you're damaging them.
I think sometimes we feel we need to take on projects.
Yep.
I feel that's the problem. Sometimes we feel like we need to take on projects. So, you know, to a lot of us, we want to feel fulfilled, and we get fulfillment sometimes through trying to fix people. So, why are you laughing? It's a fact. So we get
because that's so accurate.
We feel fulfillment when we try to help people, whether it is, you know, a small problem, a big problem. But in relationships itself, you know, we see the relationship as a project, you know, or the person as a project. I can fix you because, you know, I'm the stronger person. I understand you.
You think you're the stronger person.
Get you, all of these things, and then
think you get
all that ends up happening is just
up.
toxicity and damage.
You are not Bob the Builder.
Tell them again.
You are not
Bob the Builder. No, we can't do it.
Fix it,
We
mama.
can't do it, honey. We can't.
I can't fix it.
We
You
can't.
can't fix them.
Not everybody. No one is your project, as a matter of fact. Let's because there's the notion that where people are like, oh, not everyone is your assignment. Not everyone is your project. No one is. If it so happens that you do end up in relationships, whether platonic, you know, or romantic, whatever it may be, and God leads you to, that's another thing too. Because in a lot of things, you have to ask God to lead you. Like, should I really help this person?
If God never sent you,
If
don't go.
God did not send you, do not go there. There's a reason why God protects us from certain things, you know. There's a reason why God says no. There's a reason that God says wait. There's a reason why God says yes.
Or not yet.
And not yet. Right? There's a reason. And for us to go and want to do our own little thing and be disobedience, really and truly, that's our fault.
Oh no. Y'all love to see for yourself. Stop. I keep me not gonna say
The flag is red. It's not green, it's not yellow, it's not orange, it is red. It is red.
Oh my God.
When you see the red flags, take them for what they are. If it so happens that it's not actually red, it will be revealed to you, but for now, take it at face value. The flag is red.
I'ma know the red pretty.
Yeah.
I'ma know the red pretty.
It's
But
red.
leave it alone, it red.
It's red.
Yeah, and now let's say it red. And move along.
Oh my gosh, the flag is red. The flag is red. That's what I said. You have to be responsible for your own healing. Nobody's gonna come and save you, and it might sound harsh, you know. Nobody is expected or obligated to come and save you. If they so happen to come, they have the good intentions as well. You have to be careful with that as well, because everyone has. All right, let's take our, you know, thing of being an empath. Something new that we've been trying to do is to ask each other if, you know, can you manage this? Can you hear me out? Before actually going into, you know, what we have to say or whatever it is. Because as empaths, we internalize a lot. We feel a lot. We, even when, you know, with our connections with our friends, we can tell. Sometimes we don't know necessarily it's who. So we can tell. Like the other day, I find myself a ball. Literally, I was watching a show. It wasn't anything emotional. I was watching a show and I just thought, water just started coming down my eyes, and specific persons came into my mind. What so happened was, before I started watching the show, I just finished my devotion, and I prayed for about 5 specific persons. I should really reach out to them. 5 specific persons, and then I started watching the show, and then I just start bawling. And in my heart, it just come to me that one of these persons is not okay. I prayed for them after, but I should have probably reached out. But the point is, we feel things on a very heightened level. Like, it's so crazy. I really strayed from the main point I was trying to say. What was I trying to say? Something with healing. But the point is, you have to, oh yeah, you have to be careful what you take on as well. You have to know your set boundaries as well.
Yes,
you know,
I was going to
set
get into
your
that.
boundaries, because if you don't set your boundaries, every and anything with when it comes to relationship will come your way, because you did not set those boundaries. And this is, you know, something to myself, because I personally, I have always, not necessarily projects, but I love helping people. Helping people is my thing. You know, if you come to me and I have it, especially when it regards to money, it's yours, you know. And a girl needs to save. I can't always be doing that, right? But not only money, but if you need a listening ear, because I'm not the most, that's why the crying issue when I came to you that day was so weird, because I'm not necessarily the most like emotional person. Yeah, I'm not the most emotional person.
So am I, which is weird because of the fact that we're empaths. But
Yeah, we're not
cry.
necessarily emotional. So like, you know, I'm very objective instead of subjective as well. So I like to hear the two sides of the story. I like to see, like, if you come to me a story and you think you're right, even if you're my friend, I'm gonna try saying, why would the other person react this way and them things, before I give you an answer, before I try to, you know, because sometimes we just answer for answer's sake, you understand, instead of getting to the root of the problem of everything. So yeah, you have to set your boundaries in such a way that you're firm on them, that you don't go back on them, that it doesn't compromise your process of healing, right? And healing, by the way, is linear. Isn't linear, rather, not is linear, isn't linear.
You see what I mean? You know, I said that no.
Yeah, it isn't linear, in the sense that sometimes, like, especially,
it's up and down.
it's up and down. So it's not necessarily
way.
that you're truly healed, but there are gonna be moments when you're okay, you're happy,
and then they're gonna have days where just,
and it's just,
you know,
it's just what being a human being is about, you know. It's just what, you know, that's how God created us, you know. We are social beings, you know, and things happen and all of these things. So yeah, healing isn't linear, but you can prolong your process of healing or feeling like you're healed if you set those boundaries up, you know. Don't allow anyone to overstep it, including could be your parents, family members.
Yep.
You have to set those boundaries for yourself, honey, because if you don't set them, who's gonna set them for you?
Exactly. And if, all right, so let me partially use an example. So after my situation, because I have a very forgiving spirit, right? So I had no problem, because it wasn't that messy, I think, to say, you know, I'm gonna cut them off and I hate them or whatever. I'm very forgiving. So I had no problems having them at a capacity to say, not necessarily friends, but we're cordial. So if you're in that position, don't be afraid to say, listen, if this is how we're going to move forward, these are the things that are going to happen and what are not going to happen. So you know for a fact, especially, so for example, if you are sexually active with them, you know, say you cannot be anywhere alone with them at any point in time, and that boundary is more for yourself than them, for them, so that you do not have a relapse. You get me? So you say, okay, you know, say we can't take certain time of night, you know, say we can't be anywhere alone together, you know, so we can't have certain kind of conversations.
Exactly.
So set that boundary with them, and then different from them now with outside people, because I know some people like to heal in isolation. I was that type to, like, I just wanted to be alone. I didn't want someone to bother me. I just wanted to heal on my own. So instead mistake that a lot of people make, instead of just shutting yourself off and just cut communication all at once, if you really care about the people in your life, tell them. You don't have to go into great detail.
And the thing about it, they might not have the answer, but they'll be able to talk about it.
Exactly.
I don't know, everybody if you talk to still, you know.
Exactly.
But if you have those persons,
you don't have to talk to them either, you know. You don't have to talk to them. You can just say, I'm going through something and I need some space to deal with it. When I am ready, then I can talk to you. And if they do not respect your boundary and your space,
then that's on them, honey. That's on
leave
them.
them alone. Leave them alone, honey.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, set the boundary, and deal with it how you feel like you need to deal with it, whether it's by yourself. And if you think you want to heal with, like, say you have a circle of friends, and they're down for you and stuff, if that's how you want to deal with it as well, surround yourself with the right people.
But also remember that unless one of them is a psychologist or so, remember that they're not obligated to respond how, or if they don't know how to respond to the situation, don't hold them up for it, because
they're only trying to help you.
Yeah, they're only either trying to help you or they just don't know. Like,
they're not going
like
to
for
have
me,
all the
like
answers.
for example, this is kind of morbid. If somebody dies, I don't know how to approach you.
No, you don't.
Like, I have no idea how to approach you, because I feel it's so cliche to say that. I mean, it does. Well, I can't say that because I haven't had anyone close to me die. But I think it's such a, I don't want to say a horrible thing, but like just to say, oh, Jesus knows best and it will get better and all of them things there. I think it's such a horrible thing. And it's not to say that it isn't true, but is that really what the grieving person needs? And then if you can't say that, what else do you say to the person? You understand? So it's kind of weird for me when it comes to death and things like that. Like, I don't know, like even with my accidents, it was a huge joke. If you haven't watched that before, you can check it out in the cards above. Yeah, my accident was a huge joke amongst my friends because they know who I am and I know how they are too. So they told me, oh, I was a one-time stuntswoman. Yeah, I was a one-time stuntswoman, and I didn't, for at least for me, I didn't feel any way about it, because I not that I hate sympathy or empathy,
but you have to know who you're dealing with.
But yes, I would hate if somebody come, oh, you're alright, and baby me, no, don't do that to me. It just feels weird, and stuff like that. But yeah, you have to know your friends and stuff enough that even if they're gonna give a listening ear, if they don't respond the way that they should respond, and it's something that Gabby and I do a lot. I will probably say, I don't really know how to respond to this right now, and whatever, or I'm not gonna respond to this right now. That's something that we always do. But sometimes, even just for a listening ear, that's why we're here for each other and things like that. So sometimes if you really have supportive friends, they are a good group to be around when it's your time to go through healing. And it's really sad that we have to go through processes of healing, whether this is why God designed especially families, or had a great design for families, because if we did follow in plan and them things there, then we wouldn't have to. For example, let's take family out of this. Let's say you're in a romantic relationship with a person who's not married and whatever, sexually active and all of them things there, stuff happen on a breakup, whatever. That's a lot of healing to go through. And it's not to say that, oh, during marriage you can't get divorced and stuff like that, but at least in marriage, if you are one of those persons who went through counseling and all of those things and whatever, it's less or should be less likely to happen that you have to go through that process of healing and whatever, so you can be good for the next person if it is your portion to be with someone else. So this is why God designed especially even marriage, because I know for say, oh, he must say we can't have sex outside of marriage, but he know what it happens. He knows exactly what happens when we do.
And you see, when you have that kind of relationship, especially if you're sexually active with them, you see that thing called soul ties.
Boy,
it is a very dangerous thing. It is a very, very dangerous thing, and I feel like that contributes to making the healing process even harder. So if that's you, boy, I'm so sorry, but that is going to take a lot more push for you to get through that. So that I think we can get into what time I have. Yeah, I think we can get into how, or I guess we can help guide you into how to push into healing and getting through that. So First and foremost, this is my favorite part of it. Sleep ain't ever hurt nobody.
Sleep is my best friend,
Sleep
honey.
never hurt us.
No, if she call me or if she message me at a certain time and she don't answer, what am I doing?
Yeah, sleep.
Alright, if I'm not sleeping, I'm working. And if I'm not working, I'm sleeping.
Sleep. Sleep. I'm telling you, sleep never hurt
Bro.
nobody. When you see, and it's not sleep really. It's rest.
Because you can sleep
You
and
can
not
sleep
rest.
and not rest because you
which
can,
is something that happens
because
to me
a lot of people sleep to escape. But you see, when you rest now, you settle your mind to like, you quiet your mind to like, I think that when you're resting and quiet your mind, it gives you opportunity, even in your sleep, it gives you opportunity to see everything for what it is in a quiet space, and it gives you the space to like properly analyze the situation and think about how are you going to take that next step in your healing process. And I think that's what helped me a lot, because I slept when I was healing, and I rested when I was healing, because, and especially for someone like me who has really bad anxiety, rest is your best friend. If you have to take a deep pitch and go sleep, do it. Not to say that you should.
I think because sleep for me comes naturally, especially when my anxiety is, how I cope with anxiety is actually one of the ways is actually to sleep. I actually self-isolate in the sense that yes, me go outside, me say hi to everybody, but if you see me away from everyone, probably not communicating as much on my phone and the things there, chances are I am trying to not necessarily heal, but trying to sort out things in my head.
Same here.
And then that what I do is sleep.
Yeah.
In the process.
Exactly. Another way, a reminder of like being in the healing process. It's like how we talked about death. It's okay to grieve the relationship, because essentially more often than not, you lost a good thing. Even though it was the bad stuff that drove you guys to break up or to end that situation, more often than not, there were a lot of good times. And it's in that grieving that you see the good times, and you do not become bitter about the good times. Look at them and say, okay, this happened and I'm going to cherish these moments. That doesn't mean you're going to go back to them.
Not only that, like how some people them talk about them bad talk the people their ex and stuff like that. Even with, again, going back to the whole my sociopathic ex and whatever, I feel sorry for him. Honestly, I feel sorry for him. I don't hate him. I don't want my money. I don't hate him. I don't have any grievance against him anymore, because there was at one point, he came up to me and I was so upset, and he said hello and whatever. I was so upset. But if he should come right now, I wouldn't have a problem. I still want my money back. But I just feel sorry for him because he has an illness, and that illness is causing him to hurt other persons and possibly even hurt himself. So I don't have anything against him, and that's sometimes you have to look at it that way, that whoever it is, whatever you're grieving, don't look at the person necessarily in a bad light, in the sense that yes, the relationship may have been bad,
and yes, he may have hurt you,
and yes,
and stuff,
but there's stuff to they're deep. And this is why I know I said that you shouldn't take on anyone as a project, but at the same time you can try and introspect and say, what made this person be like this? And what you'll find is that past things, past hurts, past whatever. So it's not to say that you're negating or taking responsibility away from them.
You're actually taking them or their feelings or how they behaved into consideration.
Yeah.
So I feel that makes you give them grace.
Just like how you need grace.
Yeah, so you give them grace when you do that, and then once you give them grace, you give yourself grace to move on.
Exactly.
So, yeah. So there's that. We're on air.
Oh my gosh! I'm not cutting this out. No. Uncut,
Yeah.
guys. So I think,
Very uncut.
is there more?
No, I was going to move on to the next thing.
Oh.
So the next thing is focusing on self-care.
Self-care queen
I'm
over here.
saying.
But yeah, that's actually true. And self-care doesn't always mean face mask and all of these things. Self-care could just mean getting 8 hours of sleep because you haven't been getting proper rest.
Self-care mean eating. Cause you have some people who just don't eat when they go through a breakup. Friend, eat.
Eat your food.
In my case,
Remember January?
as you can see, I gained a lot of weight. I ate a lot.
Remember?
So like my self-care was exercising or just being active.
Yeah.
Get out of the bed and to just
So
move up and down
basically,
and
you
stuff.
have to define what that self-care is for you, because we know that not everyone is. They'll get your nails done. By the way, my nails need to get done. I don't know if you guys can see that, but yeah, getting your nails done, or it could just be like getting up and taking a nice long shower.
Same.
Not no 2-minute shower, like bathe yourself,
Yeah.
scrub yourself, make your skin shine.
And also, like for me, my version of I did it this morning. My version of self-care is cleaning my room.
Yeah, so you
Not
can
to
define
say
what
my
your
room is a
self-care
total
is.
mess, but getting up and cleaning your space is like
Yeah,
clearing out your mind.
I find that especially with the whole cleaning thing, whenever my mind is all over the place, and this doesn't have to be like something where something is going on, but when I have just a lot of like work and stuff like that,
To release
that's
it.
that's when my room gets the messiest, and then like, oh, I need to close some tabs, and by closing those tabs,
Yes.
then we start clean again, and then it's cleaner.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's how it's something I didn't realize. I don't remember where I read it, but I was like, oh, this is actually me. Like when there's a lot of things going on in my brain, everything is just out of place in my environment. So if it is that I want to settle my brain and stuff, what I need to start doing is start doing cleaning or putting back things where they belong, because that's a
Organizing
huge
or
thing with
something.
me. Sometimes I don't put back things where they belong and stuff like that, but basically that's how one way I actually calm myself, calm my brain, because I always have $1 million ideas and they drive me crazy.
Yeah, so another one is to keep a balanced perspective. I think we touched on that.
We
just
kind of
now.
touched on that.
We
Yeah.
touched on that a while ago, to like understand where this person was coming from and to give them grace and to help give yourself more grace. Keeping your distance.
Yep.
That's a big one.
From the person, from the thing, from the place, whatever it is.
Keep it. And this is where we spoke about the boundaries. That's where the boundaries come in. So, as I said, if you're someone like me who had no problems still being acquainted with them, I feel like completely cut them out of your life, understand? But if you're the person who needs to completely, like, get them away,
By all means.
by
do.
all means,
By all
put them
means.
out of your peripheral, like out of sight, out of mind.
Remember, you're
Right?
not obligated to anyone, even though we're social beings. You might be the kindest of person out there, but you're not obligated to anyone but yourself.
Definitely. So now, to conclude, if you have been through the healing process, or if you're going through the healing process, these are some things that you can know to like see whether or not you are healed or you're completely over it and stuff. So one thing would be that you can think back to the good times you had together without feeling pain. And I think that was one of the first things I unconsciously did, to say, oh yeah, I'm over this person, I thought about, it was so random, just thinking back to a great memory that me and this person had, and just thinking about it, and it just warms my heart as opposed to breaking it. So when I thought about that good moment, I'm like, yeah, that was a good time. And then I stopped myself like, that was a good time. Okay, girl, you're getting there,
That's good.
And another one is to like, you no longer avoid shared activities. So like, for example, say that you and this person had a favorite place to go. You can go to that place
Without
without feeling like nervous and say, oh, suppose they're here, or remember when it was
Also,
here, or
even if
something like
it's
that.
if you're still, friends, you don't have a problem going to that place with them.
Yeah, definitely. One of the most important ones is when you feel complete on your own. So when you feel fully independent, and what they say for girls, that they're like, I don't need no man, I'm here for myself. When you feel that in yourself,
And it's
you
not
know
to
that
say
you are
that you're
definitely there.
saying that you don't. Well, you kind of
Not for
don't.
saying I need
You
them,
actually don't.
But
But
when
the point
you
is,
feel like you are your own person, I don't need them
you're whole,
to
you're
dictate
one.
who
Because
you are.
guess what? There's no such thing as your other half.
No.
There's no such thing.
It's
Both of you have to be
it's
whole.
actually your other whole.
Your other
whole. Like,
because
you're supposed to be
one
whole
plus
and
one
share.
is still gonna equal one.
Exactly.
God is not a logical God sometimes. So yes, 1 plus 1 is still gonna equal 1. Okay? Okay. You got that?
And then lastly is when you are feeling ready and you're finally open to the concept of finding someone new. So
Or
to narrow it down a bit more, when you're open to finding someone new without thinking of the other person.
and not only that, if it's a thing like where it's the right person but wrong time as well, because in their process of healing they could realize, oh, I lost a good thing. You understand?
True.
But don't wait
Maybe
around.
it's not that they hurt you, maybe it's you hurt them and you're healing as well. So maybe when you think that, damn, I lost a good thing, and if they want you back, fine, try again. But if it's a case where like you got hurt and you're saying, okay, I think I'm ready again, then
Move on by all
sis,
means.
move on by all
You're not
means.
obligated to anyone.
Not as solely obligated to yourself. Obligated to yourself. So, guys, all in all, if you haven't started yet,
It's time to start your process of
Time to
healing.
start your process.
It's time. You can always reach out to both of us.
Our
We
DMs are
on
open, honestly.
Instagram. You can also email. There's a new feature that I'm gonna be bringing to Makeup and Mayhem. But we'll talk about that in a few weeks when I'm actually certified as a mental health coach. Yeah, so we'll talk about that in a few weeks. And for some of them, I'll be bringing on Gabby here with me because she is a mental health advocate. She is a where did you study again?
I studied gender and development.
Yeah,
studies.
gender and development. So she's more than qualified to be talking about these stuff because this is what she studied, and yeah, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and Gabby's gonna be coming on the tube soon, so look out for that. Yeah, leave a comment, leave your experience, ask your questions below if you want to ask a question.
We're ready to answer.
We're ready to answer, and if nobody yet never tell we love you.